Did you know that two people can love each other deeply and yet still feel like they're not really loved? It sounds strange, right? But it happens all the time. Because the thing is, loving someone and feeling loved are two different things. Just because someone loves you doesn't automatically mean that you feel loved. At the end of the day, it's not just about how much love you give. It's about how you give it. And we all feel love differently. We all have different emotional needs. We all have different ways of feeling valued, connected, and cared for. But often, without realizing it, we tend to love other people the way we want to be loved, rather than the way they actually need.
It's like speaking two different languages when it comes to love. You're pouring your heart out, but still not connecting with your loved ones the way you hoped for. That is because you are speaking the wrong love language. Now, we are no experts on the matter, but ever since we discovered Dr. Gary Chapman's 5 love languages, we've been practicing it in our own marriage. And it has transformed our relationship.
Exactly. It has helped us so much in terms of being able to understand and meet each other's needs better. It has helped us to feel more connected. It has helped us to just be more on the same page and overall more emotionally fulfilled. And that's why we wanted to share what we have learned with you in case it helps you too. Now, something to remember is that love languages do not just apply in a marriage or between couples. They're important in every other kind of relationship in your life. Whether it's with your children, whether it's with your best friends, other family members, or your partner, of course.
Once you understand that love has many languages, you will be able to connect with your loved ones better. So, tell us, are you ready to love a little better and feel more loved in return? Stick around. In this video, we'll be discussing the 5 love languages by Dr. Gary Chapman and why it can make or break your relationship.
Let's start with the basics. First up, we have words of affirmation. This is all about showing your love through sincere and encouraging words that lift the other person up and remind them of their value. It's about complimenting their efforts and showing your gratitude through words. It could be saying things like, I appreciate you, I'm so proud of you, or even a quick thank you. Now, it might sound simple, but words carry a lot of weight. And of course, kind words are important in every relationship. But if this is someone's main love language, it matters so much more. These words are not just nice to hear. They're essential because they're how they feel loved and valued. The challenge is that not everyone might find it easy to express their love through words, perhaps because of their personality or their upbringing or cultural norms that might make it a little uncomfortable or unfamiliar. But the good news is that we can all grow in how we love, and this is a skill that anyone can learn.
Next up, quality time. Now, the key word here is quality. So that means not simply just being around them, but being fully present in the moment with them. Putting your phone down, making eye contact, and actually listening and sharing a conversation. This could also mean going for a walk together, sharing a meal, or even watching a show that you both like. Now, quality time is important in every relationship. But if this is someone's love language, then it is especially important. Because this is how they feel seen and valued.
Next is acts of service. This is about showing love through actions. It's about doing things that make life a little easier and a little lighter for the person that you love. This could be anything from helping out with chores, running errands, cooking them a meal, or simply stepping in whenever they're overwhelmed. It's love that says, I see what you need and I'm here for you. And really, supporting each other this way should come naturally in any healthy relationship. But if this is someone's primary love language, these actions are not just helpful, they're deeply meaningful because they're how they feel loved. And to them, actions speak louder than words ever could.
Next up is physical touch. Now we all know what that means. A pat on the back, a gentle touch on the shoulder, holding hands, hugs and kisses, the list goes on. Now, physical touch is one of the most natural ways to show someone that you care for them. But if this is someone's love language, it is that much more important. Because to them, it is the ultimate statement of reassurance, comfort, and love that they can get from you. And the absence of it can make them feel worlds apart from you, even if everything else is fine. Now, it is important to know that not everyone grew up in the most affectionate of homes. So physical touch doesn't come as naturally to some. That's why it is important to have patience and open conversations about it and meet in the middle.
And finally, we have gift giving, which is showing your love through giving gifts and presents. But it's not about expecting fancy or expensive things. It's really about the thought and the meaning behind it. So it could be something as simple as picking up their favorite snack, bringing home a flower, or gifting them something that reminded you of them. Now, we all love getting gifts now and then. Who doesn't, right? But if this is someone's primary love language, it is so much more important to them because it's how they feel valued and cherished. The thing is, not everyone might understand why it's so important for some people. If someone doesn't really care for gifts themselves, they might prefer to show their love in other ways and not be fulfilling their loved one's need for receiving gifts. And this is why it's so important to know if this is a love language that your partner or your loved one speaks in.
Now, all these languages are important in a relationship. That means we connect to every one of them. However, usually we connect to one, two, or maybe even three more than the rest. At the end of the day, what makes me feel loved might not be what makes you feel loved. Simply put, what fills my cup might not even touch yours. That's why knowing your love language and your loved one's love language is such a game changer. Because it is not just loving them the way you feel, but the way they need.
And not understanding that your love language might be completely different from your loved one's can lead to a lot of miscommunication, problems, and conflict. For example, you might be longing for spending more quality time with your loved one and maybe more words of affirmation as well, while your partner or loved one is showing their love by doing things for you through action and perhaps giving you gifts now and then. From their side, they're giving their all. But from your side, while you appreciate what they're doing for you and what they're giving you, you might still feel lonely, empty, and even unloved. And if this continues for a long time, you might start to pull back and shut them out, which in turn makes your loved one confused because they've been showing you love all along. And eventually, they might stop trying because they feel unappreciated. So you end up with two people who actually love each other, who are both trying and both well-intentioned, but stuck in this endless cycle of disconnect. And that is why it is so important to understand your own love language and then to communicate it gently with your loved ones. After all, if you don't even know what you need, then how can anyone else?
It is not selfish to want to be loved the way that you need to be loved. That is why it is important that you know what fills your love tank and letting your loved ones know so that they can show you love in the way that you need. So ask yourself, what makes you feel cared for? And what hurts the most when it's missing? And then share that gently with your loved ones.
Here's something interesting. Our love languages often reflect what we missed growing up. So if you value words of affirmation, maybe you didn't receive much praise or encouragement as a child. So now hearing such words are deeply meaningful. If acts of service is your thing, perhaps you had to carry a lot of responsibility early on, or you felt like you were a burden. And so when someone does something for you now, it feels deeply loving.
If it's quality time, maybe you grew up feeling emotionally disconnected, and now having someone's undivided attention makes you feel valued. As for physical touch, maybe you were not shown much affection, or it was rare and only conditional. So now touch makes you feel comforted. And gifts, maybe you felt forgotten, and now receiving gifts makes you feel seen. And here's the most beautiful part. Islam already teaches us to love using all these languages. That love is not just a feeling, but something we live through action and mercy. In the Quran, Allah describes the bond between spouses using the words mawaddah and rahmah. Mawaddah is the nurturing love, the kind that you continuously show and give to your spouse. And rahmah is mercy, the kind that remains soft and gentle even during difficult times. It is choosing to be patient when frustrated, forgiveness when hurt, and kindness when angry.
And when you look at the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, you see all the 5 languages in action. He praised his loved ones. He helped out with chores. He made time for connection. He was affectionate, and he gave gifts. He also reminded us that the best among us are those who are best to our families. And this is not in the rare and grand gestures. This is about the small daily things, the way we speak, the way we show up, and the way we make our loved ones feel valued, safe, comforted, cherished, and seen.
So ask yourself and ask your loved ones, what kind of love speaks to you the most? And start showing each other that love. Because love, when it's given with intention and understanding, it doesn't just keep relationships alive. It transforms them